You're like a man. Oye mi yeke, ọjọ́ òní bá tilẹ̀ kúrò, ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
Àyíká mi lójú, bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ó yé mi yeke. Ọjọ́ òní bá tilẹ̀ kúrò, ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
Nǹkan yìí dá mi lójú, bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ó yé mi yeke. Ọjọ́ òní bá tilẹ̀ kúrò, ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
Àyíká mi lójú, bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ó yé mi yeke. Ọjọ́ òní bá tilẹ̀ kúrò, ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
Ìrètí máa ń bẹ̀rù fún igi tí a gbé lórí. Ìrètí máa ń bẹ̀rù fún igi tí a gbé lulẹ̀. Bó bá tilẹ̀ gbòòrùn lọ mi, yóò yọ jáde.
Àyíká mi lójú, bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ìrètí ẹ̀fẹ́. Ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò, ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
Bí mo bá fi gúgúrú wẹ̀pà, gàrí lò ní ẹ̀gán, èyí kì í ṣe bànújẹ́ fún mi. Ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò, mo mọ̀ pé ọ̀la mi á dára.
Ìdá mi lójú, ẹ̀sìn mi ló lé mi ẹ̀fẹ́. Ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò, ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
Bí mo bá jẹ̀bà tí kò lára, lọ́jọ́ òní ẹ̀gán, èyí kì í ṣe bànújẹ́ fún mi. Ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò, mo gbàgbọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
Ìdá mi lójú,
Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ó yé mi yege.
ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò,
Ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára. Bí mo bá mutí, alágbádá lájọ mi, èyí kì í ṣe bànújẹ́ fún mi. Ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò, mo gbàgbọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára.
ìdá mi lójú, ẹ̀sìn mi ló lé mi ẹ̀fẹ́.
Ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò, ọjọ́ ọ̀la mi á dára. Ọ̀rẹ́ bá jẹ́ oníbàárẹ̀ o, tó lè kókó bí ojú ẹja, àìtorí èyí rọra rẹ pé ìwọ̀n ìgbà tó wà láyé o.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Ìwọ̀n ìgbà tó wà láyé o.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Ìwọ àjọ máa bọ́kọ̀ jẹ́ o.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Ọlọ́run tó bá dúra hànà,
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
ó lè sọ ọ́ dìyá ọlọ́mọ.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Má kúrò nílé ọkọ rẹ.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Má filé ọkọ sílẹ̀ ọjàre o.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Ọjọ́ òní má tilẹ̀ korò,
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
má torí èyí lé ìyàwó lọ.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Màmá dákun má má pokùnso.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Màmá dákun má má gbógun jẹ.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Ìgbàgbọ́ mo dé sọmọ lọ́rùn lọ.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Àlòkù òyìnbó lọ fi ṣàyè.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Gúgúrú ló fi ló gbà.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
Àlòkù kúrá ló fi ló gbà.
Ìrètí ọ̀la rẹ̀ á dára.
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 Àṣegbé máa sí láyé o, bàbá o. Àṣegbé máa sí láyé o, yèyé onígbẹ̀yìn ní kóró. Ènìyàn máa gbé wèrèpè. Kó pẹ́ títí kó fi kàgbàdo. Ènìyàn bá ti gbìn, òun lọ́ máa ká dandan. Mo wá jèrè iṣẹ́ rẹ̀, àwẹ̀ mi máa jèrè iṣẹ́ mi o. Wọ́n fẹ̀jẹ̀ sínú, omi tuntun fi fún ní jáde. Ènìyàn la mọ̀ ọ́ sí lójú ayé, lọ́ba dòrò wá parada. Wá dàgbù rí dológbò, wá tún làbàyé àláyé jẹ́. Àṣegbé máa sí nínú rẹ̀, ìwà bẹ̀rù rẹ̀ níbodè. Àṣegbé máa sí láyé o, ọ̀rẹ́ mi ìgbẹ̀yìn ní kóró. Àṣegbé máa sí láyé o, àwẹ̀ ò ìgbẹ̀yìn ní kóró. Ènìyàn máa gbé gbèrègbè. Ó pẹ́ títí kófí kàgbàdo. Ènìyàn bá ti gbé, òun ló máa ká dandan. Ìwà jèrè iṣẹ́ rẹ̀, àwẹ̀ mi máa jèrè iṣẹ́ mi o. Ìròlúlé ọlọ́nà rí, ọbẹ̀ sísá kọ́ mi kàṣọ́rọ́. Ẹ máa ìṣòro láyé o, èrè iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ lẹ́jẹ̀ ni. Ìwọ bàbá kò tí ì rí, kòtò yóò mọ̀mọ́ lọ́mọdé. Ìwọ ìyá kó ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀, ọmọ fọlọ́mọ rẹ̀ yí dájọ́. Ojú ló máa pẹ́ sí o, ìwà bẹ̀rù rẹ̀ níbodè. Àṣegbé máa sí láyé o, lọ́dà ò ìgbẹ̀yìn ní kóró. Àṣegbé máa sí láyé o, àǹtí ò ìgbẹ̀yìn ní kóró. Ènìyàn máa gbé gbèrègbè. Ó pẹ́ títí kófí kàgbàdo. Ènìyàn bá ti gbé, òun ló máa ká dandan. Ìwà jèrè iṣẹ́ rẹ̀, àwẹ̀ mi máa jèrè iṣẹ́ mi o. Ibi ó ṣe ààrẹ dé àwẹ̀, ibẹ̀ gangan ló wà o. Tọ́lé aṣọ òkàtà wà láyé.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good evening. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, let me know, please. We have few people on. I decided to do a YouTube today because so many people are saying they don't have Facebook and they really like to be joining. So we're just testing YouTube today. So I hope it goes well. Then we can know which one to be using subsequently. So I have few people on. If you can hear me, let me know. Just say hello. Okay. Deborah, yeah. El Nino, I can see you. Debo, I can see you. Adejoke Olani Obadara. Thank you for joining in. I'm trying to, I already posted it on Facebook. So I'm just hanging in there a few more minutes and let's see how people will join in. So I hope it works. Or should we make it both Facebook and YouTube at the same time? I would have loved the YouTube because downloading and putting it on YouTube is not easy, and having that time is another thing. Excuse me. Okay, you can hear us. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for joining in. Let's just give few more minutes, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Even if we are able to talk for like 10, 15 minutes, it's still all right. I just want to pass the message across. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just trying to send it to people, as many as I can. I already sent it to my Facebook. Let me see. Just let's give few more minutes, please. Don't be angry. Just few more minutes. Thank you so very much. Èmi mọ ohun ojú mi ti rí, mo mọ ohun etí mi ti gbọ́, mo mọ ohun ojú mi ti rí, mo mọ ohun etí mi ti gbọ́. Lọ́gán tó gbọ́ ìró ayọ̀ rẹ o olùgbàlà, ayé mi létò. Lọ́gán tó gbọ́ ìró ayọ̀ rẹ o olùgbàlà, ayé mi létò. Mo mọ ohun ayé má ti wí, mo mọ ohun èèyàn má ti sọ. Wọ́n ti pè wá ní aganrí, bóyá wọ́n ti pè ọ́ lólóṣìírí. Ṣùgbọ́n lọ́gán tó dé o olùgbàlà, láyé mi létò. Ṣùgbọ́n lọ́gán tó dé yìí o olùgbàlà, ayé ẹ létò. Ayé tó ti dàrú tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ o, lọ́gán tí ó dé. Ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́nìyàn ti fi ṣàlùfàní rẹ̀, lọ́gán tí ó dé. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí kò dára tí a ti sọ sí ọ, lọ́gán tí ó dé. Orúkọ tí kì í ṣe tìyàtà ti pè ọ́, lọ́gán tí ó dé. Àní lọ́gán tí ó dé olùgbàlà, ayé ẹ létò. Lọ́gán tí ó dé olùgbàlà, ayé ẹ létò. Lọ́gán tí Jésù dé olùgbàlà, ayé ẹ létò. Kò sórúkọ táyé ò lè pè ní, wọ́n máa pè ní lágàn lọ́nà gbogbo. Bó o bá lówó lọ́wọ́ àgàn ni, bó o bá bímọ o àgàn ni, bó o bá. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you. I'm really grateful. Despite your tight schedule, you were able to join in. Thank you so very much. I want to thank God for giving us the privilege again to be here and to be alive. This is the month of April, the 4th month. Can you believe that? That's so fast. 4th month in 2023. We should just be thankful for everything, especially the gift of life. Yeah, we have to be thankful. Thank God for that. Then another thing is the YouTube and the Facebook. We are still contemplating. We don't know which one to stay on for now because people are complaining. As I said, they said they are unable to because they are not on Facebook. And each time you send a notification to them, they'll say, sorry, we are not on Facebook. So, but I believe many people go to YouTube. That's why we decided to start a YouTube and see how it goes. Hopefully, as time goes on, maybe people will get on more and more. Thank you so very much. Okay. This is being brought to you by Thoughtful Events. And as I told you earlier, we are trying this for now. So let's go straight to the point. Who is a widow? We say, who is a widow? A widow can be a man or a woman who has lost his or her spouse. So if you're not married, you cannot be called a widow because you must have a partner, you must have a spouse, either a man or a woman. So a woman who has lost her spouse is called a widow, while a man who has lost his spouse is called a widower. So now we are asking, how do the society relate to widows? The question starts from you and I. You know why? I would say you as a person, you would have seen one widow or the other before. So how do you relate to them? So we have to check ourselves. Because whether we like it or not, a widow that is currently a widow now, never, in your life, you cannot wake up in the morning and say, oh, you want to be a widow or you wish to be a widow. But whether we like it or not, it must occur. It must happen someday. But when and how is what we don't know. But as it is now, nobody pray for to be a young widow or a young widower. So as I said, a widower is a man who has lost his spouse, while a widow is a woman who has lost her spouse. Now, we now say, to me, I say the society is not relating to them well enough. I will say so, starting from our homes. There's one thing I have seen a couple of times. When we notice a woman to be a widow, we we look at them, we look down on them as if what has befallen them is their fault, whereas it's not their fault most times. I'm not talking about maybe a woman that killed her husband. I'm talking about a woman that lost her husband, or a man that lost his wife through a natural cause or a sickness or anything. So anything could have happened. Eventually, the spouse is gone. But as soon as a woman realizes a fellow woman is a widow, the first thing that comes to our mind is, how do I shield my husband from this woman? I don't want her to come near my home so that she will not come and snatch my husband. This have happened so many times. I have seen it. Some people will even go to the extent of saying it out. You know, there's one thing for you to act, and there's another thing for you to say. So they will say it and let the woman know. At times, they will even say it in the presence of the children, that I'm not saying you should not play with so person's children, no, but I don't want them to be coming into our house, as if what happened to them is a plague or something like a disease. Whether we like it or not, this will occur. But we don't pray that it happens to us when we are young. We want to be with our spouses for a long, very long time, to bring up the children together, so that by the time it even happens, maybe the children would have even been parents already. So a man that dies at 75, 80, we can't say the wife should be a young widow. Most times the wives are always, closer to their age too. So maybe the wife is about 60, 65, is a bit better because the children have grown. But when the children are kids, when they are still young, very young, tender age, some maybe they are pregnant when they were pregnant when they lost their husband. That's a very long way for them to go. How do they cope? How are they going to cope with the children, nurturing the children, bringing up the children? And as it is right now, we can see that even two people working, two people joining hands together to train the children is not even enough. How much more one person? Is not going to be an easy task. But how do you and I relate with them? Do we see them as humans like us? Do we see them and think about ourselves like this could have happened to anybody? It is not their fault. It is not what they bargained for. It is not what they prayed for. But yet it happened. So there is nothing they can do about it than to go about their lives. Some people will say, ayé ò parẹ́. Yes, ayé ò parẹ́. But kí wọ́n tó dàgbà ńkọ́, kí wọ́n tó lè fẹ̀yìntì, before they can say yes, they have tried enough. Unless if the man had left so much for them, which they can, stay on, maybe a lot of fortune, money, or maybe resources, which they can embank on. But if the person haven't or didn't leave anything, it's not going to be an easy task, especially when the young children are young. Okay, now We now say it starts from our homes. If you and I, we see one or two widows around, we don't have to have so much before we can be helpful. If it is ordinary food, maybe today you have 2 cups of rice and you know a widow around, you might be their only saving grace. By the time you present it to them and say, oh, Yalagbaja, okere o, eba mi gba be. It is not what you have given, but the act of giving, which matters a lot. A lot. They will be so happy that at least somebody have them on their mind, thinking about them, how much more stretching a helping hand to them. So it doesn't have to be something very big. It doesn't have to be until you buy them a car or whatever, or maybe you are able to pay their child's school fees. No. Even if it is 1,000 naira, you are able to. Because many people are so stingy that even the money they have not gotten in their hands, they have started counting on it. You don't have to say until when I get so much. The little you have, you can share. Today, you give them this. If the next person comes tomorrow and give them that, before you know it, there will be a turnaround for them. They will not starve too much when it comes to food. At times, they might even get people they can talk to concerning their children. You and I grew up, we knew how we grew up, because I can't lie to you. Growing up, like myself, I remember I was always acting like a boy. My mom will be talking that time, ye shebi okunrin, and because there was a male to caution me then, so two of them had to join hands together. But how much more when there is no other person except maybe the woman or maybe the man? You understand? Some will even say, oh, like a man now saying, since I have a female child, let my female child try to maybe be closer to so person so that the person can help me, because a man does not do menstruation, a man does not grow boobs, a man does not do some certain things which girls can be doing. And it might even be strange to them. They don't know what they call cramp. They don't know menstruation cramp. The child might be crying, stuff like that. But they need some people who can help them around. That's why I said it doesn't have to be money all the time. It can be advice. It can be, taking the children through some certain things. At times, the children might not even be able to talk to the other party, the other parent alive, because what the person might be thinking at that time will be different from what the child is thinking of. When the child is thinking about, I'm having cramps, menstruation, this and that, the father will be thinking about, well, no, how do I pay the school fees? I don't want these children to be sent out of school. So you can see two of them are thinking differently. So if you now, at that particular time, you now go to your father and say, hey, daddy, I'm having some. He will say, will you get away? I'm thinking about how to get money to pay your school fees and buy you food. You are coming with a cock and bull story. Come on, go and sit down. Because they are going through some stuff emotionally. It's another emotion for them to have lost their spouse. A greater one is coping after. Especially when they now see them as like having stigma. You stigmatize them like, oh, okay, masiku, alomo lo poko eje. Igba una loko oni ku. As if it is their doing or they prayed for it. We have to be mindful of our utterances to them, because what goes around, what goes around comes around, because it can happen to anybody, anytime. We don't pray for sudden death. We don't pray to lose our spouses. But at the same time, we have to be thoughtful of others who have lost their spouses. If you and I can be helpful, right? The world will be a better place to live in. Now, from there, we go to the immediate environment. Maybe we are talking about your household, extended family. We are talking about someone that lives in your area or in your compound. Now, it now extends to the places of worship, maybe the church or the mosque. What are the plans we have for these widows and widowers? Do we see them as, well, pest ni wọ́n jàre, they are only taking money, collecting here and there? But remember, whatever you do, even if you summon, maybe like the congregation, you talk to the congregation and say, oh, widows in our midst, oh, let's be contributing money, even if it is a dime every weekend. I'm just citing that one as an example. If it's a dime every weekend, let's just be contributing money to be helping them. They can give scholarship to their children. Some people can even take it upon themselves and be, sending the children to school. Some can say, oh, I'm buying them books. Some can say uniforms. You understand? And then the church in particular, or the mosque, what exactly are you doing to help them? If you are collecting offering, you can collect offering like miscellaneous offering, that in case something like that happen, that is where you dig into and give them money to help them. If that one does not happen, maybe it's a small church, you don't have enough, or people too are struggling, we know everybody is struggling, you can say, oh, for the widows in the church, oh, please, everybody, even if it is 1 cup of gari you have, let everybody bring something on Sunday or the next time we are worshiping, so that we can share with them. That is it. It is not what you have given, but the act of giving, for you to have, thought about them, to give them. It goes a long way. And then we call them, we talk with them. I'm not saying okoloko kó lọ máa pe aya láya until something else will not happen. If you know that you have a widow in the church and you still have your own wife, you can send your wife. Ìyàwó mi, maybe you should see Mrs. So person. Go and see the welfare of the children. Go and see how she's coping after the demise of the husband. If it is a man, the wife can talk to the husband and say, ọkọ mi, lọ bá Mr. Alágbájá tó lose ìyàwó ẹ̀. Let's see how she is faring with the children. At times, the things that the man have been bottling up and could not tell anybody, immediately maybe your husband goes in there, the man can come and, voice out to the extent of even crying. I've seen instances like that. That when you call them and you try to talk to them, it will be a sign of relief for them. I once had a client that I went to Nigeria briefly. I knew he was sick, but I got back and I had to quarantine myself because it was COVID time. So during the quarantine, I just received a call that the man passed. I was like, what? Just like that, they said, yes, and that was it. I was shocked how much more the wife that had been married to the husband for like 43 years. They married when they were very, very young. The man clocked 70. I think it was a month or two after he passed. So the wife was like 67, 68. So they got married when they were very young because the marriage was well over 40. I only worked there for a little while. I was shocked how much more the woman that had been living with him for years I remember I went for the funeral. She saw me. I went with my daughter. She clinged on to me before she could release me. In fact, I was crying, she was crying because I didn't know what to say. She held on to me. Me that was only there for a little while. So I thought about it, some time ago. Again, I went there to visit. I asked if I could come because she was sending me. I sent her sent message to her. She replied me, and each time she replied, she was always saying, "I miss him. I miss him." My mind now said, "Well, let me just pay a visit." I went there. She saw me. She was so happy. We spoke for like 2, 3 hours. She was offering me this and that. I said, "No, I only came to say hi." She was so happy to see me. Meanwhile, her daughter lives adjacent to their house. So, not that the daughter wasn't helpful, but at times the daughter too has her own family. She will want to cater for them and this and that. So at times the daughter too will need some time. But I remember that she cherished the moment I was there. Even when I left, she was sending me text messages thanking me for dropping by to say hello. She didn't need my money. She didn't need food from me. She had everything. But for the fact that I went there to say hi, she appreciated it so much. And that's another thing. How often do you pick calls? How often do you text them and say, "So person, are you all right? Hope all is well." I'm just saying hi, just to check on you. Exactly. That is it. At times, some of them don't even need your money. They can struggle on their own. They just need a shoulder to lean on. They just need someone to cry on the shoulder of somebody. Then who is the person? Can be you. They can talk to reverend, pastor, but the pastor too have a lot, because people that are fighting, we come to the pastor. People that are needy, we come to the pastor. Widows, we come to the pastor. Pastor too has his or her own. Our own family issue is there too. I mean, his own family issue is there. His own personal stuff is there. His extended family is there. Pastors are humans too. We should just try and be helpful. That is it. Everything is not money. But at times, some little gift and money goes a long way. Don't say because money, everything is not money, then I don't have to give. That means you are stingy. You don't have to give too much if you don't have it. If you have it, what is the point? Give it. Give it. But for the rest of us that will be looking at them somehow, please let us change. It is not their fault. Nobody wake up in the morning and pray for such. And nobody will wake up in the early years of his or her life and say, "Oh, I read in a newspaper some time ago, I think it should be like 2, 3 months ago. They got married in December. The woman passed away in January. So what do you tell the man? How do you console the man? I think there was no children, no, even the wife, I don't think the wife was pregnant. I don't know what happened. I forgot it. But I've forgotten what exactly happened, but the woman passed away. So they were only married for like less than a month. So what do we tell the man? How do we tell the man to cope? I know the man will move on, but it's not instantly, it's not immediately. It's not that very month, it's not that very day. It will take him a little while. And another thing is, if a widower who is a man marries a woman, another woman, even after 6 months or a year, people don't talk much. They will only say, ó ti rẹ́ lómi, ta ló mọ̀ bóyá ọ̀tẹ̀ tí ń fẹ́ra tẹ́lẹ̀. Before you know it, they forget about it. But if a woman dares try it after 3 to 5 years after the demise of the husband, oh God, the woman will be in trouble. Àwọn tí ń fẹ́ra kọ́kọ́ tó kú, òun ló pa á, ṣebí torí ẹ̀ náà ló ṣe pa á. We have to stop that. Nobody bargained for that. Èmi sọ, kò sí bọ́bọ́ ṣe ṣorí tí náà kí o ṣe. In as much a man can marry within 6 months and a year after. I'm not saying the woman should marry within 6 months or a year after. But at least if the person finds someone else and is still young, if the woman is still young, let the woman go ahead. You can mourn the man. I once had a friend who lost her husband, and she said she was going to mourn solely for 2 years. That 2 years, even till date, she has not remarried. But the 2 years, she wasn't talking to any man. She wasn't really walking like that, but she wasn't smiling and she wasn't dressing up. So she would just wear anything, go to, if she has to work, she will just do what she has to do and go back to the house. No functions, nothing. People mourn differently. For the fact that she mourned solely for 2 years does not say she didn't love the husband. We can see people that we mourn for 5 years, 10 years, and they would have slept with every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the area. But everybody will be seeing them. Látìgbà tọ́kọ ẹ ti kú kò fẹ́ lómi, kò tiẹ̀ rí tọkùnrin rò. But the person that remarries after 2 years, will be in trouble. It depends on when they find love again. But if a man does it, oh God, if a man of God do it within a year or 2, they will say, kó má bàa ṣàgbèrè. Which man ló yẹ kó ṣàgbèrè? It depends on everybody's individual differences. It might not be easy for another person, for one person to cope with another man anymore, while another person will say, let me give it another try. That doesn't mean we should be raining abuses on them or cursing them or calling them names. They didn't bargain for it, especially when the woman or the man is still young. And one thing about us, if this thing does not favor, especially if it is on the other side, no. They won't find it funny. That is when they come up with different stories, different excuses why the person must not remarry. It's not supposed to be like that. They are humans too. They have flesh and blood running through them. They have every right to make their own decisions. In as much they can take care of the children or do whatever they want to do. What I just want is, if you know you cannot cope, don't carry the children to go and suffer them in another man's house. Don't go and marry another woman, and that woman will now be beating the other children that she meets in the marriage. Some women are so bad that they will even be calling the children different kind of names. Ṣé mi ni mo pàyà yín? Àbẹ́mi mo rán ìyá yín lọ síbi tó lọ. Forgetting that òun náà ṣì máa lọ síbi tí ìyá àwọn ọmọ yẹn lọ. Everybody will go. When and how is what we don't know. A friend of mine was talking to me a few days ago, and she was telling me, because she came from a polygamous home, she was telling me how a stepmom, one of the stepmoms, because I think they had about 4 wives or so, 3 or 4 wives, and the mom was not around. But the dad was still alive then. but she was staying in that house with them. She said the way her stepmom treated her son is enjoying it now. Say anything she does for the son, she will tell the mother that èrè iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ yín lọmọ yín jẹ lọ́dọ̀ mi, because the woman treated her well. This one, her mom wasn't there though, but her mom was not staying in that house. Say, but the woman was always treating her good. That even if she eats, she will ask for more food. And that woman does not even call her by her name till tomorrow. That she calls her auntie, auntie, auntie. Now she said anytime she does anything for the boy will call the mom, and the mom will be thanking her. She will say, no, ntẹ ṣe fún mi nígbà yẹn òun lọmọ yín jẹ ń sìn. He's enjoying it because you treated me well while I was staying there, and now your son is reaping it. But most of us, when somebody lives with us, the way we will treat the person, especially when we now know that the person does not have parents, bóyá kò ní ìyá àbí kò ní bàbá, hey, yeah. No, it's not supposed to be like that. I lived in a house when I saw this boy. He had a slippers on, a bathroom slippers. That was his best shoe. So I now saw him. He was coming in. He now pulled the slippers. He came to deliver a message to me. So he pulled the slippers, and I said, "What bata? You can put it on and come in. That I don't mind you coming in with your shoes." So when I now saw the slippers, I said, "Where is the slippers?" He said, "This is it." You know, bathroom slippers, where they put the heel, there was a circle there. So virtually he was walking with his bare foot on the ground. Both slippers, the both legs. I said, "You didn't tell your auntie to buy you shoes?" Say, she doesn't buy me shoes though. That this one was the one I brought 2 years ago when I was coming into this house. So I only wear it when I am going out. I said, "Excuse me, bathroom slippers." And that time, it was just maybe 40 naira. I forgotten how much they were selling it. I said, "Bata, slippers." He said, "Yes." And I asked the boy, I said, "Daddy ńkọ́?" He said, "Wọ́n ti kú." I said, "What about your mom?" He said the mom could not cope. So the woman's mom and his own father were siblings. So they now brought him to stay with them. And I see where, if you cannot afford the same school for your children, at least try to make the boy look good. It's even a slap on you for you to be going out with that boy, and when you're going to church, you put him at the back of your car. I didn't even know they were related. That my late mom now had to tell me that one day they sent the boy out of school to go and bring, was it 120 naira or something like that. And the boy had pleaded with the auntie that for a whole term he didn't go to school because of 120 naira. One flimsy, it wasn't much, but even if we don't have it, there is a way we go about it. I felt so bad. I cried. I was going through my own stuff. I didn't have money. But the following day, I went and bought him a slippers, and I went and bought him a palm sandal and slippers. That this one, wear it if you want to bath, or maybe they send you errands in the area. But if you are going to church or anything, wear this one. Say, that you have to hide it because if the auntie sees it, I say, oh my God. Do you want me to come and talk to your auntie? No, wọ́n máa pa mí ni. I said, what? Ọmọ ọlọ́mọ. And you have your own children there too. And your children are seeing the way you are maltreating this boy. I call this boy your second cousin. He's not directly your cousin, your first cousin. So one day I stylishly interrogated her, like how they got related with this boy. She was now telling me some stuff that was stinking to my ear. Stinking when they said, come, like, when we were growing up, I asked his father for so and so. The father did not give me. So you are now carrying that annoyance. You are now extending it to the boy who wasn't even born. He wasn't in the picture at that time. After how many years? Now the father is gone. The boy could not wear the shoe. He kept them until the woman's mom came. He now called the woman aside and told her. That one now came and told me that she was going to tell her daughter that she was the one that bought those shoes for the boy. Please, anybody that comes our way, especially children that are fatherless or motherless or even orphans, let's take care of them. If we don't have to add salt into their injury. Don't add more into their pain. They are going through stuff already. Losing a father or a mother is not an easy task. How much more you adding onto it? If we don't have to make it seem like they have done something bad by losing their parents, calling them names, oríṣiríṣi, that when you hear those names, you will open your mouth and say, especially when these children are related to you. Nobody will know they are related to you because the way you are treating them. Some families, this brings me to how families treat widows, especially when it comes to their properties. They believe widows are their own properties too. They will say, "Oh, gbọ́dọ̀ fi ọkọ nínú wa." That's mama ṣùlọ́pọ̀ ni. You have to marry the late husband's brother before we can. If not, you can go if you want to go, but you won't go with the children. And when the woman comes back and see the children, the way they are sending them around, doing them anyhow. What you need to do is keep checking on them. How are they doing? Even if you don't have more, call them, pray with them. Some, they will squander all their properties and send the children and the wife out, forgetting that where the person has gone to, we are all going there, whether we like it or not. We don't pray to go early, but we are going there. If the society will be good enough, let's change our attitude to widows. Let's change the way we talk to them. Let's change the way we relate with them. Let's stop calling them names. Let's stop seeing them as bad people. What has befallen them is not it wasn't their prayer, it wasn't what they planned for, but yet it came. There's nothing they can do about it. Fatherless, motherless, or even orphans. Let's be helpful. Some are are being treated so bad to the extent that it's the teacher in school that will be buying them stuff. Yeah, let's have empathy on them. Because only double wahala for the body ni. The person lost his or her spouse. ẹrù èèyàn méjì ó ti di tẹnìkan. You know, there is one thing you want to talk, you can say baba lágbájá, ìyá lágbájá. You can't talk like that anymore. You're on your own. The decision is being made by yourself. The children want to go to this school, it's your decision. They want to go to that school, it's your decision. Maybe we should eat dinner before we go to bed and use the clinical to eat in the morning. It's your decision. Nobody to talk to anymore. And you widows, if somebody is trying to help, don't go and snatch their husbands or their wives. We have seen it too. We have seen it. All in the name of help. And the person will now go and snatch the person's husband. Regret àwa máa wà pé bàbá dẹ̀ ti ràn lọ́wọ́. Please, when someone is stretching a helping hand, or a woman is fighting, struggling, striving, telling the husband to help you out, don't go and snatch the woman's husband. Don't go behind the woman and be talking shit to the man. Ìyàwó ẹ ṣe báyìí, ó ṣe báyìí, ó ṣe báyìí, to spoil the woman. We have to think about it very well. Káàárọ̀ o. Káàárọ̀ o. We have to think about it very well. Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Kò easy to lose a loved one, to lose a spouse. Ẹ téèyàn ti jọ ń sùn, you sleep on the bed, you roll like this, you talk to the person. Some will even say, mo miss oorun bó ṣe máa ń han oorun. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbìyànjú, èmi, ìwọ, ẹ̀yin, àwa. We are the ones that can do it. Any widow we know, we see around, if we are able to help, help wọn. Tó bá jẹ́ ordinary ọ̀rọ̀ ìyànjú. I remember that time, one of my friends that lost the father, when any of them do anything bad, the mom does not have the strength to beat them. She will now take them to another family. Baba lágbájá ẹjọ́ ẹ bá mi fún lẹ́gbàá mẹ́fà. She wanted to discipline them, but she didn't have that energy, and she was, not that, she didn't have that physical body self. It was so small. She was smallish. So my friend will now be saying, mi ìfẹ́ kí mọ́mì mú mi lọ sọ́dọ̀ man yẹn. Tó bá fún ẹ lẹ́gbàá méjì, 2 days you cannot sit down. Their father was not there, but somebody was filling in that gap partially in that aspect, which really helped the children to be molded in a good way. It was easier for them to retrace their footsteps back to normal. Wọn ò fẹ́ jẹ gbà. We can be helpful in any way, anyhow. May God help us. Please. Widows ni wọ́n, widower ni wọ́n. They have done nothing wrong o. Circumstances ló jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ o. All we need to do, pray for them. Any help we can render, let's do it. And we don't tell our children, ẹ má bá wọn ṣeré, ẹ má bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ má ṣe. No. Let them talk to them. A friend was telling me, that time it was like 6, 7 years after they lost their father. They were young. We were young then. But I remember that word, mi lè gbàgbé, that since they lost their father, they have not seen their mom laughing or smiling. That no matter what you say, she will just say, Say, at times they will have to tap her. Mommy, we are talking to you. Always lost in thought. At the point, as young as they were very scared that they didn't want to lose their mom too. So one day they were playing in the living room. The mom just laughed. Something, I think one of them did something, and she just said, see, they were all happy. They clapped. They went and held their mom. Their mom, they've been looking at you, monitoring you. This is the first time you will laugh since daddy died. Say the mother cried. It's not the fault of their mom. She didn't bargain for what happened. She couldn't cope. No, because different ways. The people mourn different ways. They mourn in different ways. Some will not talk. I remember my friend that I said she lost her husband. She did not cry for 3 days. She was just there talking jargons. They induced. I mean, they gave her. I think they gave her some pills. She said she took some pills to sleep. She couldn't sleep, and they had to come and inject her. Said still she couldn't sleep, but her head was hot. That she was just pulling her hair. People were now saying, Emma Shaw, Emma Shaw. She had an 8-month-old baby or 7 or 8-month-old baby. So she breastfeed. So yeah, it's gas. Okay, the breast was swollen up. She didn't. When they asked her to breastfeed, she said she would carry the child. The child would be crying. She didn't know what it was. It was to breastfeed anymore. She didn't know what the meaning of breastfeeding was. So a woman will now have to be pulling her bra up and say "Efun loyan" before she could now remember. Say in a whole day, she might not even remember to breastfeed the child. The child will cry. She will just be looking at them. Say until one elderly man now said, "Oh, mommy, o need láti sunkún. Àwọn ọmọ pé ó dùn ẹ́, we know it is painful. Just try to cry." Then she now cried. She said that very day she cried for like 3 hours, as if it just happened. It was after then she was able to sleep. She said she slept for almost 11 hours. And they didn't wake her up because she didn't sleep for like 4 days. If they had not done what they did, if she didn't go crazy, she too might have died. Because it was a shock. She didn't bargain for it. So when we see widows, when we see widowers, they are going through a lot. A lot. A lot. You don't know what is going through their mind, on their mind. If they manage to put a smile, take it like that. At times they won't even feel like talking to you. Some will even see your call. One auntie that lost her husband, I was there, she saw the call. She just looked at the call like this and took her face away. I said, "You're not picking." He said, "Hey." I said, "Hey, I can't talk." That is it. Please, let us bear with them. Let us help them. Even if it is ordinary text, "Hello, how are you doing?" If it is ordinary recharge card, 100 naira. That is why I hold widows in high esteem. I try as much as possible to stretch a helping hand to them, no matter how little. Because I believe, especially the older ones, when they are, middle age, older, and they don't really have children that are really, maybe the children are still looking for a job. The country now, as everything is. Please, let us help. It is well with us. I hope you are hearing me. Thank you. You have really done well. So this is our first YouTube. We tried it, and let's see how it's going. And thankfully, at least I can see some people. I can see your chats and stuff like that. Thank you for joining in. If you see any widow around you or any widower, please Give them listening here. They just want to talk. At times, they need help. They don't know how to go about it. And some will even tell you what they want. If you can afford it, do it. And you widows, if they are helping, please let it be helpful. Just help. Don't go beyond your boundaries. And that is why so many people don't want to help. Kálàbọ̀rùn tó dẹ̀wù before it turns to something else. I have seen a case that the man will go there, visit and everything. Before you know it, he stopped coming home. Please, when they are helping, let it just be help. It is well with us. So thank you so very much, everybody. I really appreciate you for joining in today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, it's an awesome time having you around, talking with you, and sharing these thoughts with you. I hope you have learned one thing or the other. Let's stretch our helping hand. We don't have to have so much before we can help. God will help us. Thank you so very much. This is Thoughtful Events. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know it's not a day job, and I don't want to do it in such a way that because somebody was telling me when they can snatch people's audience, and someone that has been building his or her own, you don't have to snatch. It can take long time. Anytime it is, God will help us. Please tell one person to tell one person to tell one person. I will write the YouTube link. You can help us send it to people, share it with people also, and tell them to join us. But on Facebook also, you can join us. Thoughtful Events is the group. On YouTube also, Thoughtful Events, you'll get it. So once you see the logo, you'll see it. So that is it. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Till Friday. Friday is going to be Oyimomo. It's going to be so sweet. Very, very sweet. I don't want to say too much, but the flyer will start going out. I think we start going on tonight or tomorrow morning. Is already out anyway, but we haven't posted it yet. So you'll see it. A lot is coming. We have a lot on the table, and we have a lot of people coming in. So today is just by me and me. Thank you so very much. I'm very grateful. Have a very good evening. Thank you.